Now here we are, 9 seconds left. Gators first down, 37-yard line left.
Pull up, like.
Snap to Franks. Franks dropping
How
back,
you pull up,
stepping
baby?
up,
How you
running
pull
the
up?
ball, looking. He's going to heave one deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be
Step in the kitchen.
It's a
Let's go.
touchdown. And the Gators are
Brand new
losing it.
Lamborghini, fuck a cop car.
Cleveland.
Pistol on my hip like I'm a cop.
I can't believe what I
Never
just
met a
saw.
real nigga rock
The
star.
Gators have won the
This ain't
ball
no guitar, bitch, this
on
a
a
block.
bomb throw by
My
Felipe
God told me to
Franks.
promise you
And
was
this
sweet.
place is an insane
Better
asylum
let me go and
again.
they need me.
Oh my
Put me on that nigga, get the
Gators
bus.
have beat
Earned it, ain't a nigga
Tennessee
gave me
again.
nothing.
What's up, my Florida fans? If you're watching this, we are less than 5 days away from SEC Big Boy football. I can't wait. As you see, I got my white jersey on. That means the road game this week, week 1 versus Ole Miss. Let's get into the previews. I got my notes. I'm ready to ride. So earlier in the week, Dan Mullen released the depth chart. As I put that up on the screen now, there's a couple notable things I want to go over with you that just jumps out to me. We'll start on the offensive side of the ball. Offensively, obviously injury report. Ethan White is out. They expect him to return soon. Shouldn't be a lengthy comeback. So Gene Delance gets to start at right tackle as Brett Heggie will have to play the center role. But most notable on the depth chart, there are some players missing. I don't know if this is due to COVID or did they get beat out? Is there suspensions? I'm not really sure. Dan Mullen does not comment nor release any information on the COVID-19 stuff. I have been getting some notifications of positive COVID tests on Florida's football roster, but of course they don't release any names. So it's possible these guys that are missing from the depth chart are out from COVID. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's possible. But anyways, Brett Heggie playing center. That's a role he's used to doing. So we're fine at the line spot, but get a couple injuries and we're not so fine anymore. We need to stay healthy at the O-line. That's going to be a huge part of this offense. Rick Wells, not seen anywhere on any of the receiver spots. That's a big surprise to me because Rick Wells was a guy that players were raving about last season. I expected him to, at the very least, back up Tony or Copeland and play a major role in this offense. Now, like I said, we will see. Maybe that's COVID and he'll be back in week 2. Who knows? Also, another guy, Lorenzo Lingard, did not even make the depth chart. A 5-star transfer out of Miami. I know fans wanted to see a lot of him or at least get a sneak peek. But don't worry, he is got plenty of eligibility left. And remember, this year does not count towards eligibility at all. So it does not hurt him that he's not in the depth chart. And maybe he will sneak his head in there later in the year. It's to be determined. Tyron Hopper, I expected him to play a role. I don't see him anywhere. Let's see. Looking at my notes, LaCedric Brunson. It's like a redshirt senior. This guy's been on campus for like 7 years. Totally kidding, but he's been here a long time. I expected to see a role for him. Maybe that's inept to what the recruiting job that Dan Mullen has done defensively. Maybe these young guys have just beat him out. Maybe not. Jamarcus Weston, another guy who I expected to see some playing time. Mullen was raving about him when he was a true freshman, saying that was a sleeper of the class. Avid fisherman. I was really pulling for him, but so far nowhere to be seen. But anyways, moving on. There's nothing else really that'll jump out at you other than the absence of Rick Wells and Lorenzo Lingard. You've got Jacob Copeland starting at one side with Justin Shorter backing him up. He got eligibility last week, cleared to play. That's great news. Can't wait to see what he offers. Darius Toney at the slot. Trent Whitmore beating out a couple guys to back up Kadarius Toney. That is a bit of a surprise to me. Trayvon Grimes on the other side with true freshman Xavier Henderson backing him up. Excited to see what that young kid can do after seeing his brother. Malik Davis really pushing Damian Pierce pretty hard for playing time. They might equally get just as much playing time as the other. I am a Malik Davis fan. I loved what he did 2 years ago. Or was it 3 years ago? I can't remember. He was by far our best running option then. I hope he returns to pre-injury form. If so, if we have improved offensive line play, this will be one deadly offense. Just judging from this depth chart, though, we're not that deep at wide receiver. That could be a concern. Moving on to the defensive side of the ball. Marco Wilson at one side, backed up by Jaden Hill. Kyer Elam, I can't talk, backed up by Chester Kimbrough on the other. Oh yeah, I'm not sure if I already mentioned this, but Kyrie Campbell on the defensive side of the ball, nowhere to be seen on this depth chart. That is a huge hit for Florida. You need depth at that defensive tackle and nose tackle spot. Those guys get tired easy. You need to be able to rotate them in and out. That's what Todd Grantham loves to do. We don't quite have that ability. I mean, you do have Marlon Dunlap, redshirt senior. He knows the scheme. He knows what he's doing. But it's good to have depth. Get a couple injuries on that side, and we could be in trouble as well. So both lines of scrimmage, a concern for Florida. We stay healthy, we could have a big year. Let's see, the biggest surprise for me is C.J. McWilliams starting at the star spot. I think everybody assumed it was going to be Amari Burney. He is like a coverage linebacker type safety hybrid. He can do it all. I expected him to play the star. Trey Dean tried it last year. It just wasn't for him. You see, he has moved to safety. I think that's going to be more of his permanent spot. C.J. McWilliams has been around a while. Also a redshirt senior. He's gotten plenty of playing time, but he never, ever stood out as a starter. So that is questionable. Maybe that's just due to some COVID stuff. We're not sure. Maybe it changes week 2. I'm kind of hoping it does because that is a big question mark to me. But who knows, maybe CJ has just impressed the staff that much that he has flat out earned his starting spot. But good for him. I am proud of him. Travis Johnson, true freshman, getting the 2 deep spot here. Congrats to him. Andrew Chatfield, been hanging around, learning in the wakes. He is in the 2 deep spot at one of the end positions. Zachary Carter at tackle, Tadarius Slayton at nose, Jeremiah Moon at the buck, or Chris Bogle, it says. So they're kind of flip-flopping. Probably go with the hot hand. Probably rotate them both in and out 50%. See Ventrell Miller at the inside linebacker spot with James Houston backing him up. Amari Burney playing linebacker, not star, with Mohamed Diabate backing him up. I kind of thought Mohamed would be a buck spot, but as long as that kid gets on the field, I will be happy. Very interesting stuff here. Free safety, we're loaded. Sean Davis returning, Donovan Steiner, but you got your boy, let's see, I don't have his name written down. Your boy not starting for 3rd year in a row in week 1. Brad Stewart not starting. So that is a question mark. Hopefully we're not loaded with suspensions. And just real quick, I'm pretty sure everybody expected Brenton Cox Jr. to be that guy which he is, considering he got the number 1 jersey without even playing a down here at Florida. That was kind of, in my eyes, that was had to have been a mirror image of what the coaches thought of him. They must think and expect big things from him this year. Moving on to special teams. Real quick, Jacob Finn getting the nod at punter. Not the Australian guy we just spent a scholarship on last recruiting cycle. So that is a bit of a surprise, but word is he was fighting for playing time last season and pushing Townsend. So good for him. Kadarius Toney and Kadarius Toney and Jacob Copeland returning kicks this year, with Toney also returning punts. So it's clear to me that Dan Mullen wants to get the ball in Toney's hands a lot more this year than he was able to do the last 2 seasons. That was just kind of those things, like you wondered to yourself, why are you not feeding the ball to Toney? He is a playmaker. For whatever reasons, he got limited touches. I don't think that's in the cards for Toney this year. I think he's going to be a huge part of the offense, and I can't wait. End arounds, throwing the ball to him, no matter how they do it, they got to get the ball to Toney. All right, and moving on to the Ole Miss side of things, which will be short-lived because, let's be honest, it's just hard to predict something when you don't know what to expect. You got a first-year head coach in Lane Kiffin. He's an offensive-minded guru. You got DJ Durkin, the former Gator defensive coordinator, manning the defense. And in order for Ole Miss to do great things this year, their defense is going to have to improve drastically. The offense wasn't half bad last year. They could put up some points. They could keep you guessing. But defensively, they really didn't put up much of a fight. So that's my key, is Ole Miss is going to have to improve their defense for Lane Kiffin to have a successful year at Ole Miss. The 5 most important returning players in 2020. John Rice Plumlee completed 79 of his passes for 910 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. He also rushed 154 times for 1,023 yards and 12 TDs with a long of 75. So your leading rusher is at quarterback in John Rice Plumlee. He averaged 6.6 yards a carry. He's definitely a threat with his legs. They returned their leading receiver in Elijah Moore with 67 receptions for 850 yards, a 12.7 average, a long of 55, and 6 touchdowns. That's huge for them. Everybody else at the receiver position was kind of scattered, mostly single-digit receptions. And you got 3 guys with 10, 13, and 20. They also returned defensive lineman Taraquise Tisdale. I'm sure I butchered that name, but he had 28 total tackles and 2 sacks. Pretty sure he wasn't a starter, but he got plenty of playing time, so that's a big key returnee for Ole Miss there. They also returned their second leading rusher in Jerion Ely, 104 attempts, 722 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Last but not least, linebacker Momo Sanogo, who had a big 2018 season before missing a lot of time last season. 112 total tackles, 1 sack, and 2 forced fumbles. And in all reality, you could throw Matt Corral in the list, a former Gator commit, but I'm sure you guys know all about him already. Pure passer threat who has an a unique athletic skill set that comes along with him as well. You can't count him out to make plays with his feet. I think we will see a dual quarterback battle here, so to speak, in the game, and they will eventually go with the hot hand. I think it will end up being Corral given Kiffin's track record, but we will see. And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, the score prediction. I will say this, due to the COVID scheduling, they pushed this game to the front of the line, and that benefits Florida. We get to open the season with them. They were originally scheduled to be Game 7, I believe. That favors Florida because when you're Ole Miss, you have a brand new everything, brand new coach, brand new system on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. No spring training, 20 hours a week prior to kick off the season. All that hurts Ole Miss when Florida has everyone coming back that they do, the coaches, so many starters on offense and defense. We didn't skip a beat. This favors Florida. Therefore, I am predicting a 35-17 win. It could have been different if we caught them halfway through the year and they got better week by week, but that's not the case anymore. So 35-17, let me know what you think in the comments below. I simply don't see Ole Miss being ready for Florida. Keep up with me through the weekend. I'm going to try to do a post-game reaction and analysis, but that'll do it for this episode of Inside Gator Nation. Go Gators! If you liked today's video, please remember to hit the like button down below, share, and subscribe for all the latest Gator news all year long. From recruiting to matchup previews, post-game highlights, and much more.